Pre-game of this doubleheader football night, Game 2 is the Ankeny Hawks, and this is the head coach, Jeff Bauer. Coach, let's see, we've had 70-degree weather, rainy weather, windy weather, cold weather, and that's just in the last 72 hours. That adversity, how do you translate those guys to get them to understand this is November football?
Yeah, we grew up in Iowa. You know how fortunate we've been this football season. Yeah. I mean, no one can really complain about the weather this year. Obviously, we got the long sleeves out for the first time probably this week. Obviously, the wind, but it's not supposed to be as windy tonight, so I don't think it's going to be much of a factor. Obviously, the cold weather, it's a little drier hanging on to the ball, but we went through that last night. So
several times in the last few weeks, you've mentioned the word urgency, this team and urgency. How has that been in practice this week?
This has been our best week of practice this year. I brought some freshmen up to help, with the scout teams, and they had tons of energy, which kind of rolled over to the other sophomores, that were on a scout team. So this has been by far our best week of practice.
Do you have to do anything to get guys' attention of what's at stake? It's one and done now.
No, we've been through it. That's what it's more like. Hey, just get a confidence level and start executing. And like I said, this week it's been really good. Excited to see what we do tonight.
I looked at something you said a couple weeks ago to me, and you said if we can get to the playoffs, we'll all be 0-0.
Yes.
Congratulations, you're all at 0-0. What does it take tonight in playoff environments that's different than a regular season?
I guess maybe a calmness. I mean, you have obviously urgency about you, but you don't want to be tight. And I think when you've been through what we've been through, obviously this year, like I said, playing almost basically 8 playoff teams. Prairie, in my eyes, is one of the top 16 teams in the state. But I mean, every week we faced it. I told them how many times we scored against good teams and had good drives and 2-minute drives that we've been successful at. We have a lot of confidence going into tonight about what we can do.
I'm guessing you're going to be like most coaches answering this question, stats don't matter. Because if you look at what your running backs, your receivers, your quarterbacks have all done, they're not the best in the state, except for maybe a couple of guys in tackles. What's that say about your team?
Yeah. Well, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I mean, when you play Valley, Dowling, Centennial, I mean, you can go through the list, Johnston. I mean, we played a good defense. Mm-hmm. We played a good team every week. And when you don't have those 50-something to 60-something blowout games, 3-4 times a year, you're not going to have this good of stats, but that's fine.
Kale Rous was big for you in the game against Wash. You get Luke Anderson back tonight. But that gives you that double option if you get to a certain point. I mean, Luke's been your guy for 2 years, but it also keeps Kale engaged.
Definitely. And we're excited that we know we have 2 guys we can go to if something's not working or if someone gets dinged or whatever. We don't hesitate to put Kale in.
Otherwise, guys have, you seem to keep finding different plays, and I know there's always wrinkles that come out, but what do you see as a key tonight for your team?
I mean, I guess it's cliche, but I mean, just, tackle, get off blocks, sustain our blocks and hang on to the ball, really.
You're playing a running back that might be the best in the state. This dude on tapes pops out.
Yes.
What is about Dylan that when you just mention, tackle, you almost have to group. This is a group project.
Oh, most definitely. We know it's probably the most explosive back, definitely, that we've seen. He's probably not as big as, a couple guys at Dowling and Valley, but he is fast, explosive, really good running back, big plays everywhere. So, yeah, all 11 guys have to be eyes on him, doing your thing. You can't play hero ball. Make sure you're in your gap, because he will cut back and find the empty one if you're not there.
It looks like an odd front most of the time for them on defense with a lot of play in the linebackers. What does that mean for an offense like yours?
I mean, they're a solid defense. They're going to make you drive the field. And if you make mistakes, don't execute, you're going to have to put the ball away. So they're solid. They play, a few guys both ways. They're a very well coached team. So, we'll have our hands full tonight.
And the last thing, playing this doubleheader. You got to play a little later, but you get to play at home. What's that mean?
Well, obviously, we're excited about playing at home. You know, probably most likely the last time we'll get to play at home. But it means a lot. You know, it's a great environment. Obviously, it'll be different. That we're going to probably warm up on the baseball field first to get some warm up in, not knowing when the first game will be over. But it'll be good.
It's like a dome game. You have to warm up somewhere else before you get into the.
Yes.
It's kind of a good.
Try to. Yeah.
Try to. It's Jeff Bauer. He's the head coach. We'll talk to him at halftime. We'll talk to you in a little bit. This is our pregame show here on CISN.